Animal mutilations, especially involving cattle, have been taking place in North America for over 100 years. Since 1960, the number of cattle and other animals that are found mysteriously mutilated have increased. I don't profess to know what is causing the mutilations or why, but they are a reality and seem somehow to be connected with the UFO sightings. Several years ago, I was a guest on a radio show in New York City. At that time, there were recent cattle mutilations taking place in Alabama. The host of the radio show called the sheriff's department of the county where the dead cattle were found and had a head sheriff on the phone as part of the show. The officer said he was called by cattlemen because they found their cows dead in the pasture. When he arrived at the scene, he examined the animals, and they had surgical cuts on them, and things like sexual organs, eyes, and ears removed. He said that they were also drained of blood, and insects, scavengers, and predators would not touch the carcasses. As I listened to him, it became apparent that despite his 20-plus years in law enforcement, he was quite freaked out by the entire thing. He also mentioned that on numerous occasions, strange groups of lights were seen over the fields, and the next day, several cattle would be found dead in that area. The sheriff ruled out things like predators and human causes, since there were no tracks in the ground. The sheriff then began to tell a chilling story of a farmer and his prize cow that was pregnant. At dusk, the farmer checked on the cow and planned to return to the barn, but went back to his home first to make an important telephone call. The person he was calling was not in, so he went back into the field to put the cow in the barn. When he arrived at the field, he was shocked to see the cow lying dead with sharp cuts in its body. What really frightened him was that the fetus was also taken out of the womb and mutilated the same way as the mother. He could not have been gone for more than 5 minutes, yet, amazing as it sounds, the mutilation took place within that time. He called the police and they found no tracks or evidence of a struggle, and the farmer reported that he heard nothing. According to the sheriff, the only thing unusual that was found was a powdery residue of magnesium oxide and potassium oxide on the cow's back. I found this interesting, since in several of the cases of UFO landings that I have investigated, I've also found a residue on the ground in a circular shape. This residue also turned out to be magnesium oxide and potassium oxide. Was this the connection between the mutilations and the UFOs? Shortly after the UFO sightings in the Newtown, Monroe area of Connecticut, right around late September and early October of 1978, a local sheep owner went out to his pasture and was shocked to find his sheep dead. All 22 of his prize-winning sheep were scattered over 10 acres of land. And the strange thing about it was that he was just there the night before to check on them, and they were fine. He called animal control at the Newtown police station, and at once an officer was sent to investigate. He was told it was most likely a pack of wild dogs that killed his sheep. The owner disagreed, since when sheep are attacked by a predator, they bunch up together for protection. These sheep were found scattered over a large area, as if something wanted to isolate each animal. Furthermore, dogs bring down four-legged animals from the legs, and there were no bite marks on the extremities of the sheep. 1 week later, 11 more sheep were found dead, within 1 mile of the first location and killed the same way. In both cases, the investigators could not find any tracks, and the fence that enclosed the property was not damaged at all. I went out to take a look at the sheep. They had large slits on their throats where it appeared their blood was drained. The soft parts of their stomach were missing, not torn out, but the wounds were smooth, as if done by a very sharp knife. Although the weather was still warm, insects and other scavengers like birds stayed away from the dead animal. In the weeks to follow, rabbits, ducks, geese, swan, dogs, and cats were found dead and mutilated in the area. The local sheep herders were told that stray dogs were to blame, and they began to fire at family dogs that got loose from their owners and strayed onto or near the property. On one occasion, a family's English setter was shot by a sheep rancher because the dog came close to his property border. According to the family, the dog was gentle and would not have hurt the sheep. But the owner of the sheep said he wasn't taking any chances. Then, as quickly as they started, the animal deaths stopped, and, to my knowledge, never took place again.